Alright guys, so Magma Dragon cooled out this guy, which is really not even a guy that you would really wanna watch videos for. Like if you guys just started normal Doom Tower, like this is one of the bosses that you essentially just put your default team into and essentially just steamroll him. But eventually you get to about the end of the Doom Tower, like this is the final boss of the Doom Tower. I think I'm gonna get the Nether Spider here, which is going to be annoying if you know about the Nether Spider, then yeah, that is a guy that is very difficult. However, this guy suddenly becomes very difficult and you actually need strategies, you can't just nuke him. So let's talk about what you can do, because there's the most optimal teams, like you go to Hellheads, you find like some of these, use these champions, and it's like these mythical legendary champions that not everyone has, but luckily there is a way to do it. Now, real quick, just before we continue with this, if you guys are new to the game or if you recently started playing, I'd urge you to just create a new account, as you can get Zergala as soon as you complete tutorial. So with my QR code or the link in the description, you will get Zergala as soon as you complete tutorial. You will get Ugo at level 15, and then you can also, if you're a new player, go to the promo codes here. You can type in something like Monkey King, so you will get Supreme Sun Wukong, which is actually excellent for a lot of these Doom Tower bosses. Or you can also use Supreme 6 to get the Supreme Gallic. Additionally, if you guys need a clan, I've created one for a while. We're pushing really well. We're just about to reach level 5. So if you guys got 50,000 powers, I'd urge you to join my clan because we're doing really good. We just recently won a few clan wars. So let's get into this and let's talk about this guy, the Magma Dragon. So if you go into here, he's gonna have a whole lot of abilities, but it's not really super complicated. With Nether Spider, for example, there's a ton of little different strategies here. This guy, essentially, what he does is he kind of counters HP burn. So, HP burn. So, essentially, you can't use the Geomancer, and Geomancer is like your go-to champion. I mean, he's essentially a champion that can pretty much be used for almost all of the bosses, a lot of the PvE stuff, a lot of the dungeons, but this is one guy that counters him, so it really doesn't work, because if you put HP burn on this guy, he just heals himself, so you just end up going nowhere, and it doesn't really work. So he counters that, so the Geomancer is out of the question. Now, the most optimal strategy, and this is probably a strategy you will need in Hard Doom Tower, you can't really just nuke him in like this makeshift way, like this cheap way. You can't really do it, and that is, you need a provoke champion. So ideally, for an optimal strategy, you need a provoke champion that is going to constantly get this guy to attack him, because if he keeps attacking your tank, essentially he's never gonna cast any other abilities and you're gonna narrow it down. So if you got a good provoke champion that can really work well, you can also use provoke gear, and ideally you also want support in order to heal that, to keep that provoke champion alive, so that can work. Now, unfortunately for me, I do have a lot of level 60s, but I don't have a single provoke champion, I don't have provoke gear champion, so I couldn't really go by this strategy, but I was actually able to do this essentially in like 2-3 turns, just with this team alone that you can see here. So what I did really was I just brute forced it. Now this guy, while he does counter HP burn, he's not really all that difficult, he's not really that crazy. For example, with Nether Spider, he casts a whole lot of stuff and then he just wipes you out if you collect enough, debuffs. But this guy, essentially what he does, he has a regular attack, he can hex a certain champion, and then he can like absolutely nuke him. So he can hit pretty hard, he can also completely like nuke one single champion, but really, other than this, it's nothing really that crazy. Like, you can essentially just counter that by having 2 supports. So, I managed to get, Apothecary, and I managed to use Melga. Now, you don't have to use Melga, you can use whatever Reviver, because you can't really do this unless you have, like, crazy damage. You can't really do this without a support champion, so you will need some sort of a Reviver, or some sort of a healer, or someone that can shield your champions. And ideally, Apothecary is also a good choice. Now, I've made videos on the Apothecary. Pretty much everyone has an Apothecary. I think I've gotten like 6 or 7 of these Apothecaries. At the moment, I'm really just using him as food. I might level another one. But essentially, the way this works is you get champions that do decent damage. So single target damage, but it doesn't really even matter. Like, you don't want AoE damage unless it does a lot of damage to a single target, despite the fact that it is AoE. However, you want champions that can hit pretty hard, especially with their A1 as well. can hit every turn, and then you just get 2 supports. So you get someone like Melga, which essentially just shields everyone and resurrects in case they die, and they do die. Like in this turn, like this is one of the slower ways to do it. Took me like 5 or 6 minutes maybe, so you're probably going to have to resurrect a few times, and then you can just use the apothecary. So ideally, focus on healing Amelga. Like you need to keep your reviver alive at all times. So just get a healer and keep reviving the keep healing the reviver. And even if the healer dies, like if the apothecary dies, you can just revive him. So ideally, you just want to focus on in case Melga is in full health, you can just, heal everyone. But the Apothecary is a really good choice because he has a crazy good heal. I mean, he can almost heal you to full health. And it's like a 2-turn thing, I believe, if you book him. And he's super easy to book because he's a rare. Like, you can literally get the rare books with my link if you download the game. But the rare books are super easy to come by. So, you just heal, damage, heal, damage. And just takes a little while because this guy doesn't have some crazy spell. Now, be careful with the abilities that you use. Now, none of these champions are actually like the optimal champions for the Magma Dragon, but they do decent damage. I was actually surprised, like I've recently made a video on belts, and I was actually surprised like how much damage this guy can actually do. Despite the fact that he's an AoE champ mainly, like he can really do quite a lot of damage against bosses, especially when you combine some of his abilities and debuffs. However, if you guys are using Tranda here, if you have Tranda, be careful to not use any abilities that have HP burn. Like when I tried it first, I was using HP burn. I was wondering, like, I'm doing decent damage, but this guy keeps healing all the time. What is going on? Just make sure you don't put a single HP burn. A lot of these champions have HP burns in them, so read your abilities. Don't put them on there. So for Tranda, I've just used A1 and A2. For this guy here, Tribune, I've used essentially all his abilities. I've also used all for belts, and it just kept it alive. So let me just really quickly get into the game. Like, let me just finish up these mobs, and I'll tell you what is going on. Alright, so we just got to the actual boss, and let me really quickly show you what is going on. So he has like this AoE hit that decreases their turn meter. That can be annoying, but it's not really crazy damage. It's definitely manageable. So you just cast abilities that don't have HP burn. Luckily, you have this guy, so he has 2-turn heal, heals a lot. So let me just heal Tranda here because everyone is essentially full health. Then we got Bells. He does pretty decent damage. Now it didn't crit. Now, as I said, be careful with champions. For example, with the Forge Rhythm for Tranda, you don't want the HP burn that you're gonna get from her. But essentially just A1 does damage. Now, this is the slow way because I got 2 supports. So I'm essentially just, healing, attacking. I think she got hexed, so she essentially died, but this is completely normal, just keep at it. We use the speed, we just, this is an awesome use of the Apothecary because he can actually do a lot here. There is no, like, he does AoE damage with his A1, but this doesn't matter in this boss fight. So we just keep at it, we go like this. I think I had a heal here, I misclicked. But, just damage down, and Melga does this stuff. Let me just look at this. So we go into the heal. Now, as I said, like, if you guys are using the Apothecary, make sure to heal every time to heal the reviver, for in this case Melga, but Melga is currently at full health, so I'm gonna heal Tranda. If you're like wondering who you should heal, always focus on healing the reviver, because if the reviver dies, your entire team is going to be gone. Now here, his ability very likely is going to kill my Apothecary soon, but this doesn't really matter if I can keep Melga alive, because I'm going to just revive 2 of them again, and then I'm going to heal the Apothecary. Like, he's probably going to heal himself. So here, it's a little bit tricky because unless the Hex is on her, but just heal the Apothecary just so he survives. He just attacked Melga, this was resisted, so you just keep going at it like this. And I'm not going to go crazy on this, like, I've essentially just done this on 2 turns. You can see 3 minutes, it's probably gonna take like 6-7, but it's essentially almost like a 90% win rate. Like, it's really not going to fail if you can, keep everyone alive. So to super quickly sum it up and keep it around, like, if you guys are doing Doom Tower hard, like Curse City with this guy, like, it's probably going to be super annoying. Like, you will need a proc champion, you will need something more specialized, but for the end of normal Doom Tower, it's really nothing crazy. So just focus on having 2 supports that are going to complement each other. So the healer heals the support revives the heal, and just get 3 champions that do pretty good single target damage. It doesn't matter, like these are just some of the champions that I've used. I probably could have used a few other ones that we could also do the same damage. Kind of depends on what you currently got going on, but essentially just focus on 2 champions. Now, if you guys are new to the game, or if you recently started playing the game, I'd urge you to create a new account with my link in the description or the QR code that you can see on the screen, because you will get an awesome start. You'll get like a package worth $60, a ton of rare books, so as soon as you pull the Apothecary, you're going to book him immediately. You will get Zergala on the after you complete the tutorial. You can also use her for this. You will get Ugo at level 15, which is an awesome support. And then, as a new player, you can go into the promo codes here, so you can type in the most optimal promo code, the Monkey King. You will get Son of Wukong. Son of Wukong is essentially the go-to champion for a lot of the content, so an awesome start. But if you don't like, Sun Wukong, you can just type in Supreme 6, so you can get Supreme Gallic, and you can also get a good start. Now, other than this, if you guys are in need of a clan, we're pushing very hard. I know it says 25 members, we're constantly getting new members, I'm removing some. Someone recently joined from one of the videos, so I really appreciate you guys joining the clan. But if you guys got 50,000 power, which can be pretty quick to get, I'd urge you to join my clan, the Arena Syndicate TS4A. We're just about to get to level 5. We're winning the clan wars, pushing pretty well. So yeah, if you guys need a clan, check out my clan. So thank you for watching. I wish you the best of luck with the Magma Dragon, and see you in the next video.